Hi, I'm Candace,
I'm Wyatt.
and today we're talking about our 1 year anniversary, which is coming up April 17th, 2025. We're going to be talking about some things that we've learned about ourselves and learned about our spouse, and just things that we want to share about our marriage. Anything you want to say?
Looking forward to discussing this with you all. And can you go first?
Of course, I can go first. So, some things that I feel like I've learned about myself in this year is, well, first of all, before I go there, I'm not gonna start over. Before some things that I really, really, really enjoy about being married to Wyatt is, he's a lot of fun. He's very caring. He is, let me see. I don't know how to put this because you tell me you don't like when I say you're a baby. So, but I feel like it's not a bad thing. I feel like he has a childlike quality to him that's very endearing to me and sweet. At moments, it can be kind of challenging because, like a baby, he wants what he wants and there's not much compromise. But I feel like most of the time he's great to be around. I love having him as my company, as my partner. I love doing things with him. I love hanging out with him. And yeah. Anything you want to say about our marriage and how it's been going for you?
I'm excited that April 17th is coming up. Went kind of fast, but I'm looking forward to the day. For our anniversary, and we haven't planned on what we're gonna do for our anniversary yet. So I'm excited to plan some fun stuff to do for that on April 17th.
Okay. And before we go any further, I want to back up and talk about some of the reasons why we chose to get married so quickly in the first place. If anybody hasn't seen any of our videos from the past, we actually met and got married within 35 days of meeting each other. And I feel like I never addressed the reason why initially we felt like we wanted to get married so quickly. I don't think we ever touched on that. But at the time, we both really wanted to have more kids, right? Yeah. And so we wanted to get started on that really quickly. And us both being Christian people, we knew we did not want to be in a relationship, in a physical relationship, without being married. So that was like our driving reason why we decided to get married so soon. That wasn't the only reason why. We both really wanted to be married too, right? Yeah. And I'm glad that that wasn't the only reason why, because as it has gone on and our marriage has gone on for this first year, it actually, I knew it would be kind of a struggle, us getting pregnant, but I didn't think it would be this hard. Let's see. I figured it might take a couple of months, maybe 2, 3 months. The first time we did get pregnant, it was like 6 months, almost 6 months into our marriage, 5 or 6 months. And we ended up having an ectopic pregnancy. And so after that, we weren't able to try to have a baby for about 3 months. So from October to January, we weren't able to try to have a baby. I was going through treatments to dissolve the ectopic pregnancy, and that was hard. But then after that, we have been trying ever since. But I always told my husband that by our first wedding anniversary, if we are not pregnant by then, and look, I know he's kind of upset about that, but I didn't want to keep trying. And honestly, after the ectopic pregnancy, I did not want to try anymore because going through that experience was not easy and it was very scary. And I feel like if I had gone, I don't want to go through another experience like that. So I didn't want to try, but we have been trying. And like I said, April 17th is like, today is what, the 6th? So we have about 11 days. It probably won't happen. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm disappointed, but we've talked about other avenues of having children. And I know my husband is very disappointed in it. But like I said, that was one of the main reasons, but that wasn't the only reason why we got married, right?
Yeah. Right.
Even though I think that was more of the reason for him than it was for me. Because, I mean, he has a daughter, I have 2 children. And, but we wanted a child together, at least one. But like I said, it's up to God. That's what I always say. It's nothing I can do, nothing he can do. If the Lord chooses to give us a baby, that would be wonderful. And if not, then his plan always prevails. His plan is always first. So I'm not going to really stress on it as much as I feel like my husband has and will. But you want to say anything about it?
I mean, it happened fast. It hit us all of a sudden, like from the video we made surprising her kids about the positive pregnancy test to losing the baby. So, I go to counseling. So, I believe in counseling. So, it's okay. God, always trust God's timing. Mm-hmm. So, I just you got to put it in the Lord's hands. It will all work out. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad that you feel that way because I'm very, very adamant about the April 17th cutoff.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, that might be a little bit of disagreement that we have, but it's my body. So if he can have a baby, he can go. He can try. As long as he wants to. But, I'm 41. I'll be 42 actually in the next couple of months. And he's 40. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. And it might not even be possible. There was a possibility, And sometimes we do talk about that. And I do get upset because I feel like, if it's something that he really, really, really wants, then maybe I've even said maybe I'm not the one for him, even though he's reassured me about me being the one for him. And so that has been one issue that we've gone throughout this year. Which brings us into what I wanted to talk about as far as things that I've learned about my partner in this last year. So, let's see. Like I said, my husband is a really great guy. But when we met, there were some things that he hadn't told me about. Like he just left it off the table. And so, it has been a struggle, like peeling through layers of things that we have gone throughout these months of being together. Mental health struggles that he has had. And so I feel like that's really has been part of the reason why we haven't posted any other videos past, I think, 6 months or 9 months. I can't remember. But it was because of the struggles that we've been going through. And I have to say, I feel like we've gotten over a big hump of it, right? I think so. And if you ever watch any of my videos from the past, like years ago, I always talked about how I struggle with my mental health and from things that have happened to me when I was a kid and a young adult. And I feel like my husband has also struggled with his mental health from things that has happened to him in the past. And so, like he said, he's gone to counseling. He's in counseling right now, which I'm very proud of him. I need to get back into counseling. But like I said, I feel like we've gotten over a big hump of the difficulties. It's still some difficulties, but we've gotten over a big hump of the difficulties we've gone through. What do you think, babe?
Yeah, I think that we turned the corner.
That's it? That's
Yeah,
okay.
you know, I feel like it's getting acquainted with somebody and living with them full time. You know, you're obviously gonna have disagreements, and you know, as far as mental health struggles, you know, it's a real thing. So you know, people should try to get that addressed if they can, and you know, I just encourage people to seek counseling, seek advice from a third party or for somebody that's not, you know, someone that has an objective view on things.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Let me see. So that's some things I learned about my partner. And beyond that, beyond the mental health struggles, like I said, my husband is one of the most caring people I've ever met. He's very lovable. He is very helpful when he wants to be. I enjoy being with him, and I love the fact that I feel like the Lord put us together because we are so similar in things and we get along so well. It's like I am grateful to have him as my husband. I'm grateful to have him in my life because I feel like he's a wonderful man. And so, anything good you want to say about me, babe?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to, you know, have, you know, first row seat to see your success, you know, coming from when we first met and she was still in her school for her master's, and then to see her get her master's, and I came at the tail end, so to see her get her master's and then to see her get the kind of job and career that she has at the moment, to the point to where like the people at her job want her to come back and giving her subtle hints about how good she's doing with her kids at the school. And she's, you know, Candace has said that, you know, she seeing a difference in the kids that she talks to and helps out. So just to see all that success, you know, see someone that's doing nothing but good and getting better at stuff, it's inspiring to see that.
Yes. And I also want to say that my husband inspires me because he is a great poet. And I know one of my other videos in the past, I have talked about that. And I said maybe one day he will get online or on YouTube and actually recite some of his poetry. Hopefully, he can get to the point where he feels confident enough to do that. Hopefully soon, because I really feel like his poetry is something that should be shared with the world. And I think that being online and being on either Facebook, YouTube, even TikTok, which he doesn't like, but you know, are platforms that would help him to get his poetry and get his artistry out into the world. So that's something that we're still working on, and I am encouraging him to do. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is some things that I discovered about myself in this year. And I don't want to say that it's something I truly just discovered, because I've known this about myself, but I feel like when you're married to somebody and you have a close relationship to somebody, it magnifies things that you really need to work on. So, you agree?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the best lessons that can be learned is from things you wish, you could do over or something. So sometimes mistakes, or, simple mistakes, or just small stuff is actually teaching you, how to address it better next time.
I agree with that. So, some things that I realized that I really need to keep working on, and maybe going back to therapy might be the best solution for, is I have an issue with anger. You think so?
Um, we all do.
Well, in my way, I feel like it stems from, for one thing, not being patient and having fear. A lot of times, or discouragement, I would have to say, because sometimes fear can be um, misplaced or displaced. Anger, fear can be displaced, and it could be something as stemming from your childhood or stemming from a situation that's happened in your life before. And I feel like being with my husband over this last year and going through the things, his mental health struggles and things like that, have brought out a fear in me or a discouragement in me, and it can display itself as anger in times. And it's not just him. Even sometimes I get frustrated with my kids, and I realize that I have to reel that back in and say, okay, where's this coming from? I need to address it, because I don't need to lash out at my family because I'm frustrated about a situation. I need to figure out different ways to address that that feeling that I get, the feeling of discouragement, the feeling of frustration that I get. And that is something that I'm really, really, really starting to work on. And the other thing is patience, because I am a very impatient person. And I have to say that this is something that the Lord has been working on me for years. Like, I'm very impatient, and it also causes me to become frustrated when I feel like things that, like, it's only personal things, like where I feel like I should be in life hasn't happened yet, and it disappoints me to the point where I would get upset with myself. And my husband may think that I am upset with him, but I'm really upset with myself, because I feel like I should be further along in my life than I am. And that could be a point of us butting heads in those situations as well. So those are two things that I'm continuing to work on: patience and my anger or frustration problem. Is there anything that you realize you need to work on?
I would say my patience as well. I would say if intrusive thoughts, that may or may not be like what is happening, like, whether it be if I think that I misplaced something, instead of thinking, oh, well, someone must have moved it, to thinking, well, I'll just find it eventually, type thing, just letting it all play out, and not be quick to assume stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need to work on. And let everything happen before I jump to conclusion. Sometimes I jump to the conclusion way too much. So I can identify that, and like an athlete, I can work on it. So it's just gonna take some practice.
Yeah, and dedication, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like some of those things that you just talked about is part of the. I know you don't like when I say mental health struggles. What is the way that you like it to be? Because I feel like people that do have struggle with mental health, they don't like to be labeled that way. So you pointed out a great way of saying it before. Do you remember? No. But if I can think of it, I might make a video about it. But just for lack of better words, I'm gonna say mental health struggles. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can call it that because I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so I feel like sometimes those intrusive thoughts and things of that nature has come with the mental health struggles that you have, and it's being addressed with medication. And I feel like it's gotten a lot better because at one point it was a struggle. I mean, every day was a struggle, but through prayer I didn't give up on my husband because, man, there were moments when I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. But I love him, and the Lord kept pushing me to keep going through it. And I'm glad that we've gotten on the other side of it. And we're able to make this video because there's been many times where we tried to make a video and it just never panned out because we would get into like a big argument or something, and it was like it would just set us back like a whole week or a couple of weeks. And then when we were good again, we would try, and then it would all fall apart again. And so, even though we still do have disagreements, they're not as bad as they used to be. And so I am grateful. I mean, I want to just say that people with mental health struggles, don't be ashamed if you have to take medication. Don't be ashamed of it. It's okay. It's all right, right? Don't you feel like it's okay?
Yeah, I feel like it's, proven science. So, sure.
But do you feel like it's something that it improves the quality of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. He still struggles with it and struggles with, things of that nature. But, I've seen a change in him, and I'm grateful for it because, I explained to my husband a while ago when we were having a struggle, and I was telling him, I'm like, I love you, and I feel like God put me in your life to help you, because up until now, people were just trying to stabilize him or trying to keep him in from going over the edge, or keep him in a place where he was just stabilized, but they weren't trying to figure out, okay, what's the real issue with him? And I feel like the Lord put me in his life to help him to figure it out so that he can actually be better. And I think that he's actually getting to the point where he is getting better. And I'm grateful for that. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as it
takes time.
It is a struggle for him to talk about, but I do believe that it's a great thing, and I thank God for it. I thank God for him being in my life, and I thank God for our marriage, and I thank God that we're able to help each other out, because he helps me just as much as I help him. I love you, babe.
I love you too.
So I just want to wrap things up by saying, before I say goodbye, I just want to answer this question. If anybody thinks that, will we do it again the same way that we did it, being married in 35 days, do you think that you would redo this? What do you think?
I mean, I don't play what ifs or whatever. You know,
Okay.
it happened. You know, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna go back and change it because
No.
it was my it was we were predestined to meet each other. It was, you know, it was ordained by the Lord for us to be in each other's lives, and so, you know, I mean, if I had $1 for everything that I wanted to go back and change, you know, I'd be, you know, have a lot more dollars. So, you know, I don't really play that what if game. You know, all I can say really is, you know, just make sure that you get to know somebody, even if it is 35 days in, make sure within the 35 days you get to know somebody to the point to where you can, and that includes if they have kids and how the kids and you are going to get along with them. And so when that kind of marriage commitment comes, you know, it's more responsibilities, you know, as being a partner to somebody that has kids, or, you know, family meetings and stuff like that. So I do it over again. You know, I just would change. The only thing I would change is, you know, that I would, you know, be more back to, you know, not cocky, but I would try to have more confidence in myself.
Okay.
But I can't answer yes or no on that.
Well, I feel like, just like you said, I would, even if it was, I wouldn't recommend 35 days. I wouldn't recommend a month, maybe 6 months, maybe even 3. But getting to know the person and knowing and being honest with each other, I feel like would be more important than the amount of days. My light is going out. But I feel like that's more important than the amount of days. It's getting to know a person, and both you and your partner actually being honest about what you all are going through. Because I feel like that is more important. Did you knock out the light? I feel like that's more important than how many days you get to know a person. And actually spending time with a person and seeing them for yourself, seeing what they do and how they react to situations and things of that nature for yourself. I feel like that's really important as well. And although I feel like I got really lucky with my husband, because he is a great guy. He might have mental health struggles, but so do I. And the fact that I've been through the things that I've been through, I feel like I am in more of a position to help him. Like I said, I'm a social worker. I've studied mental health, and I've been through mental health struggles on my own. So I feel like I am in a better place than most to deal with someone that has mental health struggles. So I feel like God really has put us together, and it's a great union. And I look forward to the years with you, the years to come with you.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad.
Thanks.
Okay. So as always, I like to say, remember that God loves you. Take care and be blessed.